Danette, how you feeling?
Oh, I'm doing okay. Not too bad.
That's good.
Yeah. I'm knocking everything down in my house in here. I think Commissioner Storch was going to go up into council chambers tonight, so I think he's up there.
Hey, Danette, I have a question.
Sure.
I don't know if I can even. It's kind of the building behind Starbucks.
Yep.
There's a for sale sign on there. Like in the window, and I thought they were supposed to tear that down.
Well, remember they were both doing an assessment to rehab the building, and the other was one of the other possibilities was to tear it down. Don't know if we've ever heard exactly what they were doing. Part of the rehab was, if I remember right, adding more parking spaces in the front and then rehab in the back end of the building. But yeah, I think you'd have to follow up with community development or the planning department. They might be able to give you more insight on what's going on there.
Okay. Thanks, Danette.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You guys already started?
No. You were just talking.
Okay. I call the February 3rd Finance and Budget meeting to order. Commissioner Fisher is going to be absent tonight. So again, I'm just going to go around the table. Danette, everybody's seen that Danette is working from home and you don't have access to the check run, Danette. Is that what I understand?
No, I have access to the expenditure list report. I don't have the individual claims. So if you have questions on a claim, we might have to hold it. I did not receive any emails or phone calls today. So I've went through most of all these claims already, so I do have the background on them, but just in case we can hold it if we're not comfortable.
Okay. All right, I'm just going to go around the table as I see it. Commissioner Callahan, do you have anything?
I have that. Thanks, Chairman.
Commissioner O'Neill, do you have anything that you want to ask?
Thank you, Chairman Sorich. I'm trying to find the page. It's claim number 5524. It's for KJ. I'm sorry, I just clicked the wrong thing and got off the page here. I was just curious. It's for a grant? Oh, I'm sorry. One sec. Taylor Reed, you probably know exactly. What's that?
Community development. Let me see if I can get down to it quick. Is it a 25% grant match? URA?
I didn't write the page number down. I'm sorry.
Hold on, I can probably find it. Let's see. The East Butte RRA's 30% grant match on Curtis Street for. Nope. That's not K.
It's like KJL.
Have. Was it on page? Turn to page 83. See if that's the one you're talking about. That's an RRA grant on page 83.
My apologies. Can I be skipped? I'll find it. I got the claim number, but I missed.
What? And you said it was what number? Was the claim number?
Claim number is 5524. 20,000 is what I was.
Oh, this is okay. I got it. I did the search on the claim. So this isn't a grant. It's actually for us to write a grant. It's some services that we're going. Do you remember we passed a resolution before council to apply for the BRIC grant? It's a large grant for the Basin Creek Dam project. And this is a firm that we're using to help us do the grant writing, especially the environmental assessment pieces. There's a lot of technical writing that has to take place to submit for those grants. And that's the cost here for that grant, for that assistance with that grant. It's over, well, no, that's the $4 or $5 million grant.
Okay. I was just curious what that makes sense now. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Commissioner Thatcher, do you have anything you would like to ask?
Thank you, Chairman Sorich. I think I'm good this week. Thank you. Just really quick though, hey, Commissioner O'Neill, if you hit Control F, all you have to do is type in that claim number and it would have brought you right to it, just so you know for future reference. Thanks.
Or the little hourglass.
For reference, I get it off my phone.
Oh.
So it's, so I don't know how to use this thing anyway, so it's terrible. I appreciate that.
Commissioner Reardon. Commissioner Reardon, do you hear me? I don't think Commissioner Reardon hears me. Commissioner Fortune.
I don't have any questions.
Commissioner Sarge, will you have one of the IT people run down and help Mr. Reardon?
They're going
there
down.
it looks like he's made, yeah.
Commissioner Reardon, do you have anything for the? I don't think he hears us.
Mm-mm.
There's someone, if you can hear me, there is someone from IT coming down to straighten out. Danette, maybe, and I've got a quick one too, and I forgot to bring it up with me.
Okay.
16,000 for the Friends of the Strawden Park. What was that?
It's a SARTA grant. So I want to make, well, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I know it is. It's a SARTA grant that they do on the trail behind, out by Montana Tech. They just got it in like late last fall. It's really nice. You should, if you get a chance to drive up behind Tech there, past the mining museum onto that trail, it's really nice. But the Friends applied for the funding and had that put up there.
It was the Friends,
It's like a trailhead for the backside.
and it was the Friends of the Strawden Park.
Friends of the Park. I think their 501c3 is still under Friends of Strawden Park, but they're kind of branched out to doing a lot of work. They did park, the playground equipment and park by Central last year. So.
Okay. We also had, what was there, 16 different budget transfers, and I don't have those in front of me. I don't have.
I would like to go through them, but before we do that, I just to mention, because there's a couple claims on here that are very different than what we've had so far for the new commissioner. So there's one you'll see spread out. It's US Bank. The local government has a purchasing card system that has a lot of internal controls with it. And so this is just, it's one claim once a month when we pay US Bank, but it's actually the department's buying. They also buy online, so you'll see a lot of different purchases. A lot of times it's for registration for events. A lot of different things get purchased with the P card. If we pay timely enough, we get rebates that reduce our costs on our bank fees and our bank charges with our overall US banking. So we do try to pay this very timely. And like I said, it's very monitored. The individuals can make the purchases, but then there's a person within the department that does the accounting work on there. And then at the end of the month, every individual is required to do an activity statement that has to be signed off by a department head. And then I review the transactions, and then they're tied out with our accounts payable department. So that's one of the ones that was on tonight. I thought it was one. Just so you say, just teasing. And maybe it was more in the book. I'll walk through once Mr. or Commissioner Reardon has a chance to ask some clean questions.
I know that there's quite a few of them.
Yeah, and I walked through them. It's mid-year review time, so it'd be better if I walked through.
Okay.
Commissioner Reardon can hear if he has any questions left on the claim run.
Commissioner Reardon, you're on mute. I see your lips moving, John, but I can't hear you. Commissioner Thatcher.
Chairman Sorich, I think he might be having the same issue that I ran into a few meetings ago where the microphone on my computer was not working, so IT had to bring me a separate microphone. So he might be needing to do something like that.
Okay. Still can't hear you, John.
He's gonna see ya. So, do you want me to?
He's going home.
Yeah, what would be next? I got about 10 minutes or so because I know Chairman Shock likes to be down by 25 after, so she can have a couple minutes to get the meeting going. So why don't we start going?
The transfers.
Yep.
So this time of year, and then in the springtime, but this time of year before we do mid-year review, we really look at the budgets to try to make sure that it's allocated to the right line items. We ask departments to take a look, clean up their budgets in the mid-year. This year is kind of a little bit different. We have some transfers that are out there related to CARES Act funding in the health department. So the first one that you received in your packet was in the health department, and this is their FEP grant. It's a emergency preparedness grant that they get annually, but this was additional supplemental funding. I think it was $55,995 that they received last spring, late last spring. And when they got the funds, we weren't exactly sure how we were going to allocate the contact tracers, the purchasing of supplies, PPE, the compliance people, and just general response to COVID within the health department. So what we put this budget, when we got the money and did the resolution, we just put it in the one particular line item in operating supplies, because at that time we were considering this particular grant for just use of PPE. And as you'll see that we've had to allocate some salaries to there, mainly for contact tracing and compliance work, and then as well as running the COVID hotline. And so that's that first budget transfer there. This money in this particular grant has to be used by March 15th. Then the next one, it's just a reallocation of funds up into more operating supplies. So after we did the first budget transfer, we found that they had purchased some additional operating supplies. The next one is their direct CARES Act funding. So the health department received two different allocations of about $125,000 each time, close to $250,000 in direct CARES funding. Not the state of Montana CARES Act funding. This is direct CARES Act funding through Department of Health and Human Services. And again, with this budget, we weren't exactly positive on how all the funds were going to be allocated out and used. It was kind of difficult because the first grant, we received notification of it probably late June, early part of July for the first 125, but the until about October, and we only had till December 30th, not 31st, December 30th, to use all the funds. So that's we are doing a transfer here to allocate again for contact tracing, some supplemental wages for health department employees that their grant fund that they were normally funded out of would not cover then if they worked on CARES Act. And so in order to keep them continued employed, they stayed working maybe on COVID or something. This was early on, more so. And so we had to allocate some of their wages there and their employer benefits. Then there was some other items, capital items that were purchased throughout the CARES Act funding relate for response to COVID. A lot of it was laptops. I'm trying to think of what else. We also bought in the machinery and equipment line item, they purchased a truck. So part of that $84,000 was for a vehicle that they are using to haul things like the vaccine stuff, or when they were setting up, they really wanted it to initially to set up when they were doing testing. But unfortunately, the delays in being able to get equipment because of COVID took a little bit longer. So I don't know how much they ever really got to use it for setting up for doing their testing, but they definitely used it moving forward with setting up and moving supplies around for the vaccines. The vaccination clinics. They also did some remodel work down there to make sure that the health department could do some of their own and set up their own vaccine stations and clinics. I don't know if you've really been through the health department or toured it much. It'd be good to maybe take a tour of it. It needed work, some immediate work to respond in order to properly vaccinate some people. So we've taken care of that, and some walls and stuff was done. And then another piece of the equipment was that they had purchased some security equipment down there. So there's some new locking systems down at the health department. It's no surprise they've had a lot of threats down there. And so it was time to look at the locking system. And again, all of this money was grant funded, and I believe we were able to successfully spend down every dollar of it, so we didn't lose a dime. So that's that particular grant. And if you have more questions on all the different purchases in this, we have a list, and I'm sure Karen Sullivan or Diane Reagan would also share that list with you of all the purchases in this grant. There was a lot that was done under this grant funding. And in the general fund, there are annual maintenance. This is just our software package that we used. It's our enterprise-wide accounting system and our tax billing system. And that's just the next transfer just was an increase in cost that we had not anticipated on the maintenance agreement. Next budget transfer, that software package discusses is the package that they use for some of their diagnostics. Again, it was an increase on a maintenance agreement on their software contract. And then budget transfer 74 was to additional costs that we've had for increases on the Stella project. We just paid our annual licensing for the next year, and we are going to be in negotiations with them of extending and asking for an extension on that renewal contract, just because it's not fully been delivered upon successfully. So we're working with the county attorney's office, the IT department, Kathy Kennison and myself. And we've also talked to Chief Executive Gallagher to look at extension on that agreement so that we actually get another 8 extra months on an agreement. Let's see, what else do we have in here? Then we also had some changes in this budget transfer that relate to the IT department staffing personnel, with the exception of the manager, Kathy Kennison, moving over to the Teamsters bargaining unit. The budget transfer 75 is the Superfund budget transfer. The hazard pay increase in the salaries was basically just a result of a union contract, an increase in the union contract. 76, budget transfer 76 was their weed spraying. The community enrichment department, or weed department of Butte-Silver Bow, sprays the parcels of land within the Superfund department. And then for their work and their time and service, we get payments back for it. And it's more properly recorded under other purchase services, not professional services. And so this is just a transfer between line items for accounting reasons. And then transfer 77 within the relates to the RMAP laborers and their union contracts, and then some of their other special items that they get for hazard pay when they're in doing certain types of work. And this is additional work too. I mean, they're throughout the whole budget process, they've been adding additional work. So that's that. Then budget transfer 78 is the land management of Superfund. And this is just an increase in their plotter that they have downstairs in the courthouse. And 79 is the increase in the NRD Big Butte, some additional employer-provided benefits for keeping a labor on longer, doing the tree planting program. And number 80 is the Small Business Development Center. Some of you might know it as the incubator. This is just moving line items and budget around to cover some additional rent costs of their copy machine. And here, 81. This was the DNRC payment that we make for the transmission line, that payment that we have to pay DNRC that runs through their property. And then 82, this is a larger budget transfer within the Metro department. They had some additional work on some pumps and screens. And then I believe also looking at doing some other maintenance work that has to be done down at the wastewater plant. And 83 was work at the pool the season for 2020, and then prepare it to start for 2021. And then 84 was to purchase a computer for Dan Murphy, who is the bailiff up at the district court program. So a lot more budget transfers than normal, but generally you do see this many about this time of year when we're working on budgets and to get things clarified here.
Thank you, Danette. Commissioner O'Neill.
Chairman Sorich, this time I'd like to note or make a motion that we review the expenditure list on Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021, the amount of $585,054.02.
Do I hear a second? Katie, Commissioner Thatcher made a second, I see. So we got a motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those against? Nay. Or signify by saying nay. Okay, like the ayes got it. We're just about under the gun. Commissioner Shaw was to get together regular meeting going. So thank you everybody for coming. See you for a few minutes.